say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Let us pray. Creator of the human mind, I ask that you bless this place of higher education and all those who study here. Help this college to serve the needs of the community and to shine as an example of service to all. For those who choose to further their education here, grant not only the knowledge they will need in their chosen fields, but also the wisdom to apply that knowledge to their life's work. Thank you for the precious gifts of knowledge and discovery, leadership, and service. I ask on behalf of those gathered here that you also bless my brother, Dr. John Downey, upon this occasion of his inauguration as the 5th president of Blue Ridge Community College. Give him the grace to make a difference for the good in whatever circumstance he may find himself in the years ahead. Give him a sense of what is right and good and appropriate in the often confusing issues he will face. May he serve with integrity and honor and be a special blessing to those whose lives he personally touches. Creator of all, we thank you. Amen.
Please be seated. Good afternoon. I'm Dawson, Chair of the Blue Ridge Community College Local Board, and it is my honor to welcome you to this celebration, the inauguration of Dr. John Downey as the 5th President of Blue Ridge Community College. I thank you all for taking the time to attend this great event, especially those who are here with us representing other institutions of higher education from across the Commonwealth. We are indeed fortunate to live in a state with such fine colleges and universities. We are sorry to tell you that the Secretary of Education informed us late this week that he would not be able to join us today. But regardless of that, we have a wonderful celebration planned for this afternoon. For many of us, today's ceremony is the first inauguration that we've participated in here at Blue Ridge Community College. But some of you were here 21 years ago for the last inauguration. I'd guess that much has changed since that time, yet some things are still the same. Today is an example of how this community and this community college partnered together to strengthen this valley. Now please welcome with me Blue Ridge Community College student Todd Metzger.
Thank you very much. I too would like to add my personal welcome to the campus of Blue Ridge for today's inauguration of Dr. John Downey. And we were very honored you decided to come here today. As you know, Blue Ridge Community College has a rich history of academics in and service to the Shenandoah Valley. And today it opens another chapter in this ongoing history by inaugurating its 5th college president. I am Todd Metzger, part-time college student, very proud of that. And I'd like to share with you today what Blue Ridge means to me. During the course of this past year, I have had to unfortunately endure something that far too many Americans have been enduring these last few years, and that's the closure of my place of employment. And as I'm sure you can imagine, it was a very sad event. Of the 85 people who worked on the shop floor at the time of the closure, only 5 were initially offered transfers to stay with the company. But for as sad as this event was, and for as many tears as I shed, and I hate to admit this in front of a group of people, I shed a lot of those, I was very honored and very grateful to be one of the 5 asked to stay with them. And the reason is right here, Blue Ridge Community College. I've spoken with various people after the fact, and I've been told, Todd, your willingness and your time to pursue your educational goals and to demonstrate to us your leadership potential by your involvement in the Business Honor Society were key reasons why you were asked to stay on board. One man went so far as to say, you've done all the right things to keep yourself employed in the midst of this. And trust me, keeping my job in the midst of the worst recession since the Great Depression means more to me than this speech will ever convey. And with that, I'm going to pause for just one moment, and I want to look at the faculty when I say this. Blue Ridge, thank you for all that you've done for me. Please understand something. Blue Ridge is not someplace special simply because I'm a student here. But I am a student here because I believe Blue Ridge is someplace special. And what makes it special are its people. The community of educators here at Blue Ridge Community College are top-notch and second to none. They'll go above and beyond instead of doing just enough to slide by. They've consistently raised the bar high enough and kept it there long enough that it's now considered the norm. And they're not only willing to teach, they're also willing to mentor. Let's face it, when you teach us, you give us knowledge, and as college students, that's why we're here. We'll take all that we can get. When you mentor us, you give us wisdom, okay? You can put a price tag on knowledge. Just ask any college student. It's called tuition. But you cannot put a price tag on wisdom. Wisdom is priceless, and it carries with it the unique ability to pay unexpected dividends far into the future. Leading this group of people is a man himself who was top-notch and second to none, Dr. John Downey. Since the torch was passed, Dr. Downey has quite literally taken it and run with it. His enthusiasm, his zeal, his energy, as well as his vision and his leadership remind us all that the best days for Blue Ridge do lie ahead. Whether he's behind closed doors, working with faculty and staff and making important decisions, or whether he's out in the hallways, just hanging out with and talking to the students around him, Dr. Downey exemplifies another quality that Blue Ridge has a rich history in, servant leadership. Now, as everyone knows, it's not the price of the suit that makes the man. It's the pricelessness of his inner character. And let me give you an example of what I'm talking about when I say that. I had the privilege of joining Dr. Downey and a small group of others on a trip to Richmond to meet our state legislators. Let's face it, these were very important people at the highest levels of state government that make decisions that affect our everyday lives. Meeting them truly was an honor. During this trip, I was very impressed with the way Dr. Downey advocated on behalf of Blue Ridge. He represented us, and he represented us well. But what impressed me the most on that day was the parental example he was setting. Okay? Dr. Downey invited his youngest daughter to join us on that day, and I thought that was really special. Not only did she get a chance to spend some quality time with her dad and skip a day of school, I do believe, but more importantly, she had a chance to see firsthand the inner workings of our state government by the actual people who make it happen. Okay? But what Dr. Downey did not realize on that day was this. His actions were not just teaching and mentoring his youngest daughter. His actions were teaching and mentoring a slightly older student. Okay? His actions were saying very loudly and very clearly on that day, Todd, In the midst of all that's going on, and in the midst of all that I've got on my shoulders, I have not yet forgotten what is truly important. His actions that day spoke volumes to me as to the values and character of Dr. John Downey, well deserving of the title he now holds. Let's face it, a lot of people in this world like calling themselves leaders, but I believe many of them could learn a thing or two from Dr. John Downey. That's why as we begin today's inauguration, I'm very honored to be able to stand in front of you, and even more honored to be able to say in front of you, thank you, Dr. Downey. We're glad you're our new college president, because you inspire us and make us proud.
Didn't know I was following Dustin. Todd. I'm Hara. I'm one of the academic deans here at the college, and it is my distinct honor to bring you greetings and welcome from the employees of this college. It is exciting to see so many of you here to celebrate what is a really important day. When we think of our own lives, there are these landmarks or events that mark our accomplishments and our passage of time. Maybe it's getting a driver's license or turning 18. Maybe it's college or a family. We're all different. But whatever those things are, we look back upon them as things that marked our accomplishments. Colleges are no different. They have these events, and they may not be quite as exciting. It could be something that marks an established or a new thing in a college. It could be a new building, like you see across the way. It could be a brand new program. It could be the day the faculty parking lot disappeared and we got this beautiful campus commons. Or it could be a brand new president. Regardless, we're about to celebrate, well, in a few short years, our 50th anniversary. And we will remember this day. There's no question about that. So thank you for being here. Despite the fact that it's such an important day, as Dee Dee said, it's been a long time since we inaugurated anyone, and many of us were not here to even see that, and those of us who were, well, it was a long time ago. So we may be struggling just a little bit with exactly what it is that we're doing here today and what is our role. So I thought I would talk with you just for a few moments about what I think inauguration means and give you some ideas about why I think my colleagues and I are here today. When I looked up the definition of inauguration, you won't be surprised, there were many things there, but my favorite was a new beginning. To me, that means that we're about to embark on a new chapter of this college. Now I can hear you, you're thinking, yeah, I'm pretty attached to the old chapter, really proud of what we've done, and that's totally okay. You need only to ask students like Dustin and people sitting here, the employers in our area, to hear that there are many new challenges. You need only to have been a fly on the wall at our recent college-wide retreat to hear about many new barriers. Like it or not, we are about to begin a new chapter in this college's history, and today I think we stand here to celebrate the old and embrace the new. We will all have a role in that chapter, every single person here. Many of you view this college from the outside looking in. We hope you think of us as a place to come when you need to take a class. Maybe you've sent an employee here. Maybe you've watched a loved one walk across this stage, and maybe you've even walked across it yourself. We know what it means to look at a community college. Many of us are products of the community college and wouldn't be here today without our community colleges. But there are about 160 to 180 people sitting here who know this college in a very different way. They are the insiders. We're privileged to work here. And they're the ones that have this critical role. And, you know, Todd and I didn't even compare notes. They're the ones that have to really work in the new chapter. So I thought I would give my humble thoughts about what it is that my colleagues and I will be doing in this new chapter, and the 3 reasons, just 3, in addition to the fact that we have to be here, but the 3 reasons that we are here today, and I think there are 3. The first one, and we didn't compare notes, is very simple. Blue Ridge is a special place. I didn't say perfect, I said special. Well, why? It's a place where people are empowered to make a difference. it's a place where we have a voice if we choose to use it. It's a place where students come first. We are encouraged to come up with new ideas. We disagree all the time. We're encouraged to take chances. It's okay to make mistakes. Mission, vision, values, they mean something. And collaboration and communication, let me tell you, they're not optional. If you forget about it, somebody reminds you. It is a truly special place. We are very fond at Blue Ridge about talking about our culture, and some people think that's a bit cliche. But for me and many of our colleagues, my colleagues, it's not cliche. Our culture is something that we can feel, that we can almost hold. It's something that we value and something that we could lose. So the first reason I think we're here today is just as employees to take a moment and think about the fact we're lucky and affirm that we will not take Blue Ridge for granted. Reason number one. Reason number two is also in alignment with Todd, and that is that it's simple, the reason it's a special place, because of all these special people. So, you heard a lot about what they did for Todd. Let me tell you about, if you looked on the inside, we have some special people. Not perfect, but special. We have those folks who never stop doing things. They are always in new projects. You're hearing about them all the time. They make me tired. They make a tremendous difference. Tremendous. But we have many people who quietly go about the work that they do, that good work of educating our students. They do so without fanfare, without recognition, and they make a tremendous difference. We have people who are happy to hang back and kind of assess the landscape, and others who will never stop talking. We have some who are happy to maintain the status quo, and others who are never happy unless they're stirring the pot. So the bottom line is, all of these people are the reason this college is so special. And I believe the second reason we are here today is for each and every one of us, in our heads please, to really think about what will your role be in this new chapter, because it will take conscious and concerted effort to make sure this college stays the special place that it is right now. So the third reason we're here today is perhaps the most obvious, and I cannot look at him when I say this. So there is one among us, and only one, who we are honoring today. And despite the fact that I cannot see Dr. Downey's face, I know he will agree with me when I tell you he's only one. He's one among an amazing team. He would be the first to tell you that this college's greatest resource is its people. And he would 100% mean it. He would much prefer that today be about this college than about him. He is much more apt to tell you about the accomplishments of those fabulous faculty, students, and staff than of his own. So when he became our president, we knew we were in good hands. Todd mentioned servant leadership, and really that is one reason that we knew we were in good hands. And the term servant leadership is very familiar to many, many, many people sitting here. But for those of you who it's not familiar, and you think of those two words together, servant leadership, it's a bit of an oxymoron. Think, what's that mean? Well, let me try to give you my explanation, which will be very brief and inadequate. But in my assessment, servant leadership is the concept that you believe in a cause, that you work to serve that cause because it's the right thing to do, and you have a responsibility to make a difference. And in the process, you become a leader. It just kind of happens. But regardless, that leader is always a servant first, always. Dr. Downey is a servant. He's proud of it. He serves this college. He serves our students. And he serves every one of us. So the third reason I think we are here today, and perhaps the most important, is to tell Dr. Downey and everyone here that we as a team are happy to walk beside him. Not behind him, he would never want us there, but beside him as we turn the page, this next chapter of the college, and we make sure together that this place is everything that we know it can be. Thank you.
Oh, I long to see you and hear your rolling river. Oh, Shenandoah, I long to see you. Away, I'm bound away, across the wide Missouri. I long to see your smiling valley and hear your rolling river. I long to see your smiling valley. Away, I'm bound away, across the wide Missouri. Oh, Shenandoah, I long to see you and hear your rolling river. Oh, Shenandoah, I long to see you. Away, I'm bound away, across the wide Missouri.
That was lovely. Friends, I'm Glenn Dubois, Chancellor of the Virginia Community College System, and I'm just delighted to join you today for this terrific event. Let me first thank each of you for the impressive show of support your presence today signals to John and to his wonderful family and to the entire college community. Having been the Chancellor for a few years now, and having attended several of these inaugurations, I find it somewhat curious that this ceremony always follows, sometimes by several months, in this case, more than a year, the actual time when the President took the office. So I guess, John, probation is over. And in that 1 year, John, you managed to get a state agency to order and print you those business cards. No, the 1 year wasn't really a test. No test was needed for John. His commitment to the philosophy of servant leadership, very good description of that, I might add. Servant leadership to Blue Ridge Community College and to the central Shenandoah Valley region is beyond commitment. His transition from arriving at this college as a counselor now to becoming its president is inspiring. Increasingly, there's a focus on the idea of growing your own talent, on elevating talent, dedicated, hardworking people like John, and helping them grow into the next generation of our organization's leaders. Today's event is a powerful reminder that Virginia's community colleges can do that. We are doing it, and we benefit from it. It's sometimes difficult for me to think of John as a new president. Well, he's worked here for 18 years, and throughout that time he's earned the respect and admiration of people not just on this campus, but throughout our college system. Before becoming president, Here and long, even before he applied for the job, John was part of a dream team that I assembled to create a new strategic plan that's known as Achieve 2015. His inclusion on that team was applauded by faculty, staff, and presidents across the state. A very small sign of the reputation that he was building. A humble, honest broker who may have been climbing the ladder, but who never forgot what it felt like to be on the bottom rung. Many of you know John began his career as a counselor at Bunker Hill Community College. You may recognize that name, Bunker Hill Community College, for a number of reasons, including the fact that it was the backdrop for the 1990s Academy Award-winning movie Good Will Hunting. And that film launched the Hollywood careers of some big-time folks like Ben Affleck and Matt Damon. What you may not know is that Robin Williams' character in that film, the wise, street-savvy, tough-loving, giving counselor, was based on John Downey. You can ask him about that later. Now, John's career up north had a bright beginning. In the 4 years, his first 4 years, he rose from being a counseling center intern to the director of student affairs, Bunker Hill Community College. But in his 8th year at Bunker Hill, that career took a tragic and potentially dangerous turn. You see, John is one of 10 kids, and he was raised in upstate New York. Bunker Hill is in Boston. And when the college's faculty and staff learned that John was an aggressive, lifelong, passionate, pinstripe New York Yankee fan. Well, let's just say it was best that we hired him away to Virginia. Now, when he got here, he was the Disability Services Coordinator and an academic counselor. He went on to hold a number of positions here, Dean, Vice President, and now President. In 2001, John earned the Chancellor's Fellowship Award, which allowed him to finish his doctorate at UVA. Not a bad investment from my office, John. And today we formally welcome him to the highest position at the institution that he loves. I mentioned earlier how grounded John is, and how he has not always allowed his success to cloud the way that he sees things, or the way that he treats people. I'll leave you with one small anecdote to illustrate that point. By my count, it's probably been about a decade that John worked hands-on in the Blue Ridge Student Counseling Office. A decade. Yet students that he worked with then, still from time to time, give him a call. They call the college president's office, and they don't ask to speak with the president, or even Dr. Downey. They just like to speak with John. Servant leadership indeed. And John will tell you that his success is the result of working with and listening to some really smart, good mentors throughout his career. And John, I just want to point out to you, whether you realize it or not, you are becoming one of those really smart, good mentors. So John, it's a pleasure to fulfill my formal part of the program and to pass along you the traditions, the symbols of the office of the college president. The tradition of the inauguration is visible first in the academic regalia that we all wear, connecting us with a long history of teaching, of scholarship and of service. We continue our traditions, John, as you know, by presenting you with two symbols of leadership: the gavel and the medallion. The gavel is a modern symbol of leadership representing fairness and judgment in an open exchange of ideas, an exchange where reason and logic and intelligence hopefully prevail. So I present this gavel to you, it's up here on the podium, as a symbol of the responsibility of leadership that you bring to the college in fairly evaluating ideas from throughout the college community. The second symbol, the medallion, is again a traditional one, a symbol of the presidency itself. It's worn as part of the academic regalia and represents the responsibilities of your position as president. This medallion represents a belief, our collective belief, in your commitment, John, not only to Blue Ridge, but to your commitment to leadership, to guiding this college community forward, and to turning ideas and ideals into action. So John, I need you to kind of stand by me, if you would. Now, having passed on to you, John, these important symbols of the presidency, and by the authority delegated to me as Chancellor, I am delighted to informally install you, Dr. John Downey, as President of Blue Ridge Community College. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me now in formally welcoming your new president, President John Downey.
Thank you. Thank you. I'll say, Chancellor, that I believe the character in Good Will Hunting also drank wine in his office, and I assure you that never happened at Bunker Hill. Mr. Chancellor, Congressman Goodlatte, members of the Virginia General Assembly, Secretary Lohr, President Emeritus Perkins, college and university presidents, members of the Blue Ridge Community College Local Board, and members of the Blue Ridge Community College Educational Foundation Board, distinguished faculty, staff, and students, members of my family, my friends, my colleagues, and distinguished guests. What a wonderful honor and privilege it is to stand before you today as the 5th person to be installed as president of this remarkable institution. Although I am so grateful for the opportunity to serve as president of this college, I would be making the gravest of errors if I believed that the celebration today should be directed at the installation of one person as a new president. Instead, I view our gathering here today as an opportunity to celebrate the compelling work that all of us perform here together for the benefit of the residents of the Shenandoah Valley and the Commonwealth of Virginia. Indeed, this inauguration ceremony serves to remind the entire community this college serves that as leaders of Blue Ridge Community College come and go over the years, the compelling mission for which this college exists will abide here for generations. Today we come together to celebrate that shared mission that our Commonwealth depends upon us to deliver. Blue Ridge Community College anticipates and responds to the educational needs of our region by providing comprehensive programs and services within an environment of academic excellence. A review of the history of Blue Ridge Community College reminds us that on August 25th, 1966, the college's first president, Dr. Douglas Montgomery, stood shoulder to shoulder with his local board chairperson, Mr. Malcolm Jones, as a gilded and ribbon-bedecked shovel twisted the old farmland that lies beneath us, breaking ground for the new Shenandoah Technical College. Although that moniker was later changed to our own beloved Blue Ridge Community College, the singular purpose for establishing this college has never changed. Our primary aim has remained to provide access to a high-quality collegiate education. Most importantly, that access has not merely been reserved for a few of the elite or well-prepared, but rather for every citizen of the Shenandoah Valley and beyond who has the passion, the persistence, and the perseverance to overcome any obstacle to forge a better life for themselves and for our community. Only 5 decades ago, the land that rolls beneath us was a rich and vibrant farmland, providing nourishment and sustenance to residents of the surrounding community. Cletus and Charlotte Houff, whose surname is memorialized on the Student Services building behind me, and whose children honor us by their continued involvement with this college. It was the Houffs who were among the first Valley visionaries who foresaw that from this fertile soil, a crop of a different sort might someday emerge as a product of our labors. The sacrifice and dedication of countless individuals helped transform this farmland into the field of dreams that it is today, land which has ever since nourished the minds of thousands of local residents who have consequently transformed our community as the result of the work we accomplish here. We would do well today to recall and appreciate the great work of the generation of visionaries that came before us. Theirs was a generation of dedicated men and women who established this college when they first saw a need, that ensured its success through perseverance, and that established its great purpose for providing accessible higher education and workforce training for the residents of this community. Today, almost 43 years since those pioneering men and women first opened the doors of Blue Ridge Community College, evidence of the impact of their work and ours pervades this community. Through the devotion of hundreds of committed employees throughout the years, Blue Ridge Community College has educated thousands of successful students, students who have, in turn, gone on to make a tremendous impact on the economic and social vitality of the Shenandoah Valley. The long and winding path of my own life would suggest that I am a most unlikely candidate to inherit the legacy of leadership demonstrated by these giants who came before us. I know I would not be standing here today were it not for the generous mentors who graciously and willingly guided me along every step of my journey through time. From my earliest days upon the earth, I have been the fortunate beneficiary of the selfless generosity of others. At every milestone, at every turning point, at every critical moment of my life, there has been a great teacher, a wonderful mentor, or a dear friend who deeply supported me, who profoundly challenged me, and who greatly inspired me. My mentors helped instill within me a great love of continuous learning and a perspective of servant leadership that I could not have developed without their intervention. My parents gave every ounce of energy they had to teaching through the example of their daily lives that a loving, positive outlook on life, hard work, and maybe a little bit of sarcastic Irish humor might indeed help our corner of the world to become a better place. My 9 brothers and sisters, many of whom were able to join us here today, taught me from my birth the great lessons of life that one can only learn by living within a loving community. Is it any wonder then that I became attracted to a work environment where I have the wonderful privilege of being in a community that considers itself to be like a family, where those same life lessons are modeled by employees of this college for the benefit of another generation. My wife Sandy and I met in an undergraduate counseling psychology class, and I've benefited from her love, support, and counsel ever since. My 3 daughters, Megan, Jennifer, and Nicole, they inspire me every day by their humor, their passion for life, and by the unique choices they have made in their own journeys through time. I've also benefited from members of my extended family who have taken the time to provide me love and guidance over the years. But I was also blessed with supportive and challenging teachers throughout my life. Those inspiring educators worked tirelessly so that I might finally grasp some critical concept, gain some intellectual insight, or acquire some essential skill. In addition, the wonderful colleagues and friends I have met during my career in community college education have continuously demonstrated what service to students is all about. Through their hard work, they have modeled for me the critical importance of keeping in the forefront of our minds this great community college mission with which we have been entrusted. My story is not unique. I believe that all of us are the product of great teachers in our lives. Whether those educators are members of our family, friends, colleagues, co-workers, or students, all of us can point to people in our lives who have inspired us to become better than we ever dreamed possible. I consider the work we do at Blue Ridge Community College to be our opportunity to pass along that legacy of mentorship and guidance that we ourselves have benefited from. We are the farmers of the next generation, entrusted with the sacred duty to reap a more abundant harvest from this rich farmland in order to ensure that this region of Virginia continues to thrive from the bounty we produce. My predecessor, Dr. Jim Perkins, once said, "Find opportunities to serve and leadership will follow. Leadership follows service." Dr. Perkins' effectiveness here was rooted in his keen ability to help us collectively identify and live by the values that inspire us to educate through every action we take and in every interaction we encounter. The employees and students that make up the community of Blue Ridge Community College care deeply about our shared values of learning, excellence, community relationships, and campus culture. Those values are the reason for our success, and they will remain the foundation we will continue to build upon so that the success of this college will be assured well into the future. After all, weren't those the same values we once employed when a young man named Bruce Bowman first set foot on this treasured farmland? Bruce understands that it was Blue Ridge Community College faculty and staff that nurtured and honed his own natural abilities and forged them into a lifelong love of learning and service. Today, Dr. Bruce Bowman is a beloved veterinarian in our local community who volunteers for countless community organizations, including our own local board, and who completed a service trip last year to India to meet the needs of the poor in that region of the world. Those same values helped inspire a graduate named Lisa Epper, who first enrolled here in the winter of 1986. When she took a history course from one of our faculty members, she became so inspired by the experience that she dedicated herself to one day teach history. This past summer, Lisa graduated with a master's degree from James Madison University after completing her baccalaureate degree through our partnership with Mary Baldwin College. I know that it will not be long before Lisa is in one of our local classrooms inspiring the next generation of students. Megan Samples is benefiting right now from those same values we hold so dear. Megan started out in a learning community program where she learned that her involvement in our award-winning student clubs and organizations could augment her learning in the classroom. Megan was participating in one of our student service projects when she found herself just outside of Port-au-Prince, Haiti, in the midst of a devastating 7.0 earthquake on January 12th of this year. She showed the reach of our values in the aftermath of that quake, along with fellow student Michael Aronoff and BRCC employees Gail Foley and Rebecca Evans. The quake claimed many victims, including hundreds of school children that Megan had been playing with just the day before. Megan and the rest of the BRCC delegation spent the night after the quake comforting the young victims who survived, along with their families at that devastated school. Now, less than a year after that horrific event, Megan has already returned to Haiti in an effort to rebuild that school, an effort made possible because of the generous donations from countless benefactors of Blue Ridge Community College. So you see, today's event is an opportunity to celebrate the role Blue Ridge Community College plays in the lives of people like Bruce and Lisa and Megan, and the thousands of others just like them who are making such a difference in the community and throughout the world. Who could have predicted in 1967 that these cherished 72 acres of land would have such an impact on the lives of so many? Daniel Webster once said that farmers are the founders of civilization. Surely then, it must be educators who are the ones who sustain it. As we continue to implement the amazing mission with which we have been entrusted, may it one day be said of us, by some future generation of Shenandoah Valley residents, that we sent forth students from the bounty of this treasured farmland who have themselves cultivated a vibrant and prosperous community because of the work we have done here together. Thank you very much.
Thank you all for your thoughtful and inspiring remarks. Dr. Downey, as you continue to lead this institution through challenges and successes, I hope that you can often reflect on today's events and the people here to celebrate and show their support for you in Blue Ridge Community College. On behalf of the local board, I thank you all for coming today.